The Somua SM is the newest premium vehicle added to the Guardian store. With decent mobility and a fast-firing 100mm gun, is this new premium worth your money? Alright lads, today I'm going to be talking about the performance, weapons and playstyle of the Somua SM. Starting as always with the basics, this tank is a rank 4 battle rating 7.3 heavy tank located in the French tech tree. Being a rank 4 premium, it will be effective at researching all of the vehicles between the ranks of 1 and 5, allowing you to grind out the majority of the French tech tree. To get this tank, you will have to purchase it in a pack on the Guardian store. For a price of €40, you get the tank, 1000 golden eagles and 15 days of premium time. After purchasing the tank from the store, you'll need to add it to your lineup for the cost of an additional 10,000 silver lions. You can then purchase the expert and ace qualifications for the tank, costing 480,000 silver lions and 1,200 golden eagles respectively. Being a premium, the Somua enjoys a very low repair cost of 3,460 silver lions, meaning you won't have to worry about going bankrupt in this vehicle, something which cannot be said for the other battle rating 7.3 French tanks. Going on to the rewards, the tank has a base RP modifier of 1.96, which gives you an RP modifier of 392% with a free-to-play account, and 588% with a premium account. With a base silver line modifier of 1.4, you will have the highest silver line modifier available for any premium tank in War Thunder. You can expect a 280% silver line modifier with a free-to-play account, and 420% with a premium account. So is this tank worth the money, and is it even the best rank 4 French premium? Stick around for the rest of the video to find out. Okay, so moving on to the engine and performance. You can see that the Somua has an engine which produces 1000 horsepower. Combined with the vehicle's weight of 60 tons, this tank has a power to weight ratio of 16.67 horsepower per ton. This is pretty good, especially for a heavy tank, and the Somua has remarkably good acceleration for such a large vehicle. Moving on to the transmission, you see that this tank has a top speed of 40 km per hour. However, its reverse speed leaves a lot to be desired, with a measly 6 km per hour. Okay, so we're here in a test drive, and the first thing I want to note is that this tank does not get the ability to neutral steer, meaning you cannot turn on the spot. This will be a limitation, especially in tight urban combat. We'll now go on to acceleration, and as you can see, the Somua is pretty snappy getting off the line. As you can see in the bottom left, the tank can reach its top speed of 40 km per hour even on rough terrain. Overall, the mobility of the Somua feels more like a medium tank rather than a heavy. The good acceleration due to the great power to weight ratio allows you to zip around the battlefield at speeds in which the Tiger II could only dream. Okay, so moving on to the armour protection of this vehicle, and the first thing I want to note is that this tank has 5 crew members, and as you can see the crew members are spaced quite far apart, which does make the tank quite survivable. The second thing I want to note is that the ammunition loadout in this tank is quite sporadic. As you can see, we have rounds in the lower hull and the upper hull. Carrying less than 16 rounds of ammunition will completely delete the upper hull storage of ammunition, which significantly reduces your chance of being ammo racked. And now on to the actual armour performance, and to test the armour of this tank, we'll be using its own 100mm round, at a range of 100 meters. Starting as always with the lower frontal plate, we can see that it offers around 190mm worth of protection. The upper frontal plate of this tank is 150mm thick, but because of its thick sloping you can see that it provides over 370mm of protection. Like the upper frontal plate, the upper turret is well sloped, but its thickness is reduced from 150mm down to 120mm. Regardless of this change in thickness, the well sloped armour still produces over 340mm of effective armour protection. From what I've shown you so far, you may be thinking that this tank is excellently well protected, but we now move on to the biggest weak point of this tank, which is essentially just the turret chin. You can see here at the side of the turret, it is only 76mm thick, and as we move towards the centre, it gets thinner and thinner. Just underneath the gun, it's only 38mm of thickness, meaning that rank 1 vehicles can even penetrate this tank here. As well as your turret chin weak spot, you also have a huge commander's cupola, which will be very inviting for APC-BC rounds with explosive filler, essentially killing everyone in your turret with a single shot. Moving to the side profile of the tank, and the whole sides consist of 40mm plates, which provide around 40 to 50mm of protection depending on the sloping. Moving up to the turret, we can see that its oscillating turret design does give it quite a weird shape. Because of this weird shape, it does give it varying thickness of armour protection, but as you can see, our cursor is green pretty much everywhere. And finally, the rear profile of the vehicle. You see that the rear hull provides around 50mm of protection, and the rear turret around 38mm of protection. While the upper frontal plate and the upper turret slope does provide good protection against APC-BC rounds, the armour performs significantly worse against Heat FS and APDS rounds. To demonstrate this, we'll be using 2 rounds found on the Leopard 1 found at battle rating 7.7, just 1 BR higher than you are. The first round we'll be testing is the DM13 round. This is an APDS shell and has over 303mm of penetration, and as you can see, it can punch straight through pretty much everywhere in your armour. The next type of ammunition is the DM12 round. This is a heater fest shell and has over 400mm of penetration, again found at battle rating 7.7, and as you can see, it punches straight through even your thickest armour. To conclude, the Somua does have pretty good frontal protection, but only if your enemy doesn't really know how to fight you. You certainly are capable of bouncing rounds off your upper frontal plate and upper turret sloped armour, but in a few weeks time, when enemies are used to fighting this tank, they'll just know to shoot you in your turret chin, making your upper frontal plate and top turret armour pretty much useless. Because of the rather large turret weak spot, I wouldn't really recommend playing this tank as a traditional brawling heavy. Instead, I'd use its aforementioned great mobility and try and use it as a flanking medium tank. Okay, so moving on to the armament of the tank, and you can see that the primary weapon is the 100mm SA-47 L58 cannon. This gun is unstabilised and mounted in an oscillating turret design, which does rather limit your vertical guidance. You have a subpar 15 degrees of gun elevation, but a respectable 8 degrees of gun depression. You can carry 50 rounds in total, however, your mechanised first stage ammunition only contains 8 rounds. The reason for the mechanised ammo rack is because this tank uses an auto-loading system, which is responsible for the great 4-second reload. However, as I mentioned, your first stage ammunition only consists of 8 rounds, and once those 8 rounds have been shot, your reload time is much longer. If we jump to the weapon reloading skill under the tank loader section, we can see that due to the presence of the auto-loader, this skill is basically useless. Now if we look at the targeting skill under the gunner section, we see that this tank has a base turret rotation speed of 21 degrees per second, and a top turret rotation speed of 30 degrees per second. This is quite good for a battle rating 7.3 heavy tank, and will allow you to react to threats on your flanks. Moving on to the ammunition, you can see that we only have 2 options to choose from, and both are classed as stock shells, making them free to fire, which is a nice touch. The least useful round in my opinion would be the Obos Explosive. This has a pretty good muzzle velocity of 1000 meters per second, and contains 1.4 kilograms of TNT. However, its measly penetrations characteristics of 18mm does make it rather useless in my opinion. However, the more useful round in my opinion would be the Obis de Rupture. I'm pretty sure I'm butchering that. As you can see, it is an APC-BC round lacking an explosive filler. Regardless of the lack of an explosive filler, it still has a very good muzzle velocity of 1000 meters per second, making it comparable to the Tiger II's 88mm gun. It also has pretty good penetration characteristics, being able to punch through 273mm of armour at a flat target. However, it does leave a lot to be desired when facing sloped armour. As you can see, when facing armour sloped at around 60 degrees, that penetration drops from 273 down to 94mm. This means you will struggle with some opponents at battle rating 7.3 and higher. For an example, here is the IS-3, a pretty common Soviet heavy tank located at battle rating 7.3, the same as you. At a range of 100 meters, using our 100mm APC-BC round, the IS-3 is pretty much immune from the front. There is nowhere that your tank can pen, apart from the very tippity top of the driver's hatch, and even then, you do very little damage. If facing something like this from the front, shooting the barrel of the tank and trying to flank your enemy will be the best choice, as like I said, there is nowhere you can kill this tank from the front. Okay, so we're here in a realistic battle test drive, and the first thing I want to note is that you do get a really nice field of view in this tank. However, I will mention that the level of zoom is pretty poor. As you can see, we can't really zoom in at all. Alright, so you join me now in a simulator battle test drive, and as you can see, the optics of this tank are located right next to the barrel. This makes aiming in sim battles quite easy, as it significantly reduces the effect of parallax. However, at very close ranges, you will have to aim slightly to the left of a target. Overall, the firepower of this tank is very good at battle rating 7.3. There certainly are some opponents that you won't be able to penetrate frontally, such as the IS-3, Mouse and IS-4. But against those vehicles, you can use your fast fire rate to take out their barrels and tracks, and then use your great mobility to flank them and put shots into their weak sides. I hope you've enjoyed that brief overview. We'll now go into some gameplay, followed by a conclusion. Got it. Well, didn't know you could hold break IU-251s. So now I know you can. Don't know what that is. No, we're dead. Oh, maybe not. Why is my gun not moving? Well, survivability, not terrible. Let's get our gun to it. Okay, so welcome to Mosdoc. We're gonna see what we can do. Ah, well, we got the T-44-100. It's a nice little shot to start the game. We are a little exposed here. Do you see something there? I thought I did. Is that something? Yeah, hull broken ASU 57. Poor little boy. Oh, don't know what that is. Is it a... Oh, is he not dead? Right, now he's dead. The German M41. Oh, sorry, Charity. He's still up there, to be honest. Oh, is this guy? There's nothing I can do. Can do this, though. Can always be a good teammate if someone's getting shot. Try and take out or buy Mr. Leopard. So we got the IS-3. Oh, we didn't get him, but someone else got him. There is a tank going down here where I'm aiming. I don't know what it is, but I saw him. No, I don't see where I was shot from. Oh, there we do. Nah, I can't do that. Ooh, get wrecked. I bet he's mad. I bet he is very mad. Got something, yeah. Bye bye, Mr. BMP. I do not want to speak to you today. What the fuck? How the hell did that guy get there? Ammo rack. Oh, fuck off. 4-second reload, boys. No, there seems to be another enemy over here. Look to be a light tank. I see him. No more Mr. Light Tank. Actually, that's not a light tank. Oh, come on. I don't even know if I can penetrate his turret. Okay, well. Our experiment to see if we could penetrate his turret did in fact prove successful. Uh-oh. Oof. Well. Nothing like that to wake you up in the morning. Bloody hell. I actually stopped breathing then for a second. Maybe not. Try and get... See, I don't know whether you can go underneath his turret. No. Okay, well that works. Pull back into cover and reload some ammo. So this tank, it's definitely more of a passive heavy tank. Well, it was an F6F, but there is also a Burkat as well. So this might be a good spot for us because we are quite a tall tank. Super Persian, dead Super Persian. Oh, this is a juicy target. Oh. A little bit high. Another dead T-34. You just see that? Fucking planes again. Oh well. To conclude, the Somua is a pretty decent premium tank. However, it is more of a flanking medium, rather than its in-game designation as a heavy tank. Its surprisingly good mobility and fast-firing gun make you absolutely lethal if you can get on the enemy's flanks. However, its fairly weak turret armour and lack of a stabiliser make playing this tank as a traditional brawling heavy rather risky. Apart from your upper frontal hull armour and the very top of your turret, the rest of the tank is relatively vulnerable. This is made worse by the tank being quite tall, not allowing you to fully use hilly terrain as cover. Because of all of these factors, direct engagement with enemy tanks is a poor tactic, and people who want to do well in this tank should exploit the Somua's mobility and get yourself on the edge of a map. Although I am a member of the Guardian Partnership Programme, I did indeed purchase this tank myself, and to be honest, I'm not disappointed. While by no means is this tank overpowered, it provides a powerful gun on a mobile chassis, which is my preferred playstyle in ground battles. As I've said, this tank does require you to play quite passively, especially in a full up tier to battle rating 8.3, but overall I've had mainly positive experiences with this tank. I would have preferred the Somua to have been a rank 5 premium rather than a rank 4, as there are already 2 other rank 4 French premiums, one of those being the Panther Dauphine at battle rating 5.7. This tank essentially allows you to grind out the 5th rank of the French tech tree at only battle rating 5.7 rather than 7.3. However, while the best rank 4 premium is debatable, there is no debate about whether the Somua is a good tank. If you want an effective and fun tank, as well as a decent RP and Silver Lion grinder, then the Somua is a solid choice. As always lads, I hope you found this video helpful, and thank you very much for watching.